Boxing.
Watch your stuff, it's great.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Boxing King Media, powered by BYD and the Riyadh season. Pleasure for the first time. Opetaia, short for Tapu. Jai Opetaia's dad. Thank you for giving me this interview, first of all.
No worries, thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Jai came into the boxing scene when we saw him on the matchroom shows initially, and you will have seen that the response he's had from boxing fans around the world. People love him because of the way he's outside the ring, inside the ring, his energy. But you're his dad, you're his trainer, and I want to kind of tap into your mind and kind of get a bit of an insight where Jai came from, what he was like. So, obviously you've brought him up from day one. So, initially, a little bit about yourself. What's your background? What was he doing other than training fighters?
Well, I'm a third generation and Jai's a fourth generation, so he's pretty much born into it, as everybody knows, I guess. Yeah, and he's just taken to it. So, yeah.
What was your interest in boxing? How did your interest come in? You're saying obviously you're fourth generation. So what was the first thing that made you think, I want to be involved in the sport?
That I wanted to get involved in it? Well, I'm pretty much like Jai, so I was born around it. My dad done it, so I sort of was bred into it, and the same thing with Jai. So, like I said, we're fourth generation. He's a fourth generation. I'm a third generation. So, boxing's our passion. We love it dearly, and it comes from our heart. So, yeah.
And what kind of stuff, work-wise? Because I spoke to some of your team. I think you worked on the doors around Australia. Yeah. What was that like whilst Jai's growing up? You're working on the doors.
Yeah. Well, you have to feed your family, so you do stuff that have to pay the bills, and because you know how to fight, doing security was just part of the, making money. So, that was part of it. Did security for most of my life, and yeah.
What's security like in it? Because it's a very common job in the UK. What's it like in Australia? Do you get into many scraps, or are people more behaved in Australia?
No, they're pretty much all the same all around the world. Once people get tanked up with the alcohol, anything can happen. So it's our job as security guys to try and control whatever we can, sort of thing. Yeah.
And then the first time you kind of took Jai to a boxing gym, what was he like? Because when we see him now on camera, he just strikes me as somebody that you won't want to have a street fight with him. He's so on it, you know what I mean? But I can see the softer side in him now that he's had a baby girl. But what was he like as a kid? Has he always been like that?
Yeah, he was like, since day one, he was born in the gym. So when I was in the gym, I used to take him as a baby. So when I was babysitting him, he was crawling around the gym as a little kid, swinging off the bags and all that sort of stuff. So as being tough, he's always fought older guys, and I always thought if you're going to test yourself, you might as well test yourself with the older guys. And he was a bit of a cheeky little shit. So I used to tell everyone, just bash the crap out of him. So that's the outcome of it, I think.
I'm guessing he's been brought up in that old school way of discipline. Because that was my way of being brought up as well. Yeah. How important was that in his in his youth?
Well, yeah, old school sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Nothing like a good kick up the butt and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? These days, the generation's completely different, and with social media and all the new laws that how you can't do this and that, which is a whole lot of crap. And, yeah, and you come out with that sort of stuff, I think.
What was he like in school? Was he like a naughty kid, or was he on it, or was he just focused on the boxing?
No, mate, he was a little shit. He used to get trouble all the time and get in the fights, and bit of a rat bag, but that's what you get,
How did you deal with it as a dad?
Bit of discipline and stuff like that, but they're kids, it's all part of it. You can't you try and control it as much as you can. But sometimes it's not a bad thing, sometimes it's not a good thing, so you just take with it.
When it was the first time you realised I've got something special here, that he could become a star, what age was he when he first thought, you know what, I'm onto something here?
I think when he made the Olympics, it was such a big deal. At 16, he was competing with men, you know what I mean? Like grown men. Some of the blokes were 34 years old and he was 16. So for him to compete and keep doing what he was doing was pretty amazing. And I was like, oh man, we might have something here. But he's always fought bigger kids and older guys and all that sort of stuff. So when he made it to the Olympics was quite a great achievement. So.
I bet it was. And then with regards to his childhood, how important was instilling your culture and your ancestry in him? Because as you'll know yourself, we spoke about it earlier, that when children nowadays kind of forget where they've come from, what their ancestors did, because I know you guys are quite proud of your roots, how important and did you kind of instill that in him?
I think everyone that has a bit of culture should show their kids where their ancestors have come from, where their roots are from. As Samoans, we're very proud of who we are. We're only a small country, but we're very passionate of what we represent as our families and God and all that sort of stuff, and showing our culture, what's wrong is right, and all the elderly stuff, and God again is very important to us as well.
I bet. And what's the most important thing to Samoan culture, would you say? Because most British people, when you think of Samoan culture, like obviously we're alien to it almost. We see the rugby and we see that hooker dance. Is it called hooker?
No, the
Haka.
Yeah.
Haka dance. Yeah.
The Samoa Sivatau.
So we see that, and that's my general stereotypical opinion when I think of Samoan people. But could you educate us in a way, maybe share something about Samoan people that I may not know?
Yeah, like you said, we're very passionate of who we are, and those sort of dances come from our ancestry and all that sort of stuff, and it just shows how proud we are of who we are. And we've always been fighters. We've always been fighters. When the people come to try and take our little island, and we fought back and all that sort of stuff, and I think it showed, we show it onto our kids not to give up and all that sort of stuff, and yeah.
So you've seen him kind of rise in the last 12 to 18 months. His profile's gone through the roof. As sitting back as a father, seeing that, how does that make you feel, and how proud are you?
Oh, mate, I'm just standing here watching him do his interviews now, and brings a tear to my eye, to see where we've come from and where we are today. Me and my nephew were sitting on the roof last night just looking out in Saudi Arabia and just going, wow, look at us, we're here. It's been quite a journey, and I think it's just started for him. So, I mean, it's easy once you get there, but maintaining it, I think, is even harder. So, we look forward to that as well.
I love celebrating boxers' journeys. Even Liam Cameron, who's behind you over there, he's come from a crazy journey himself. But with regards to Jai, when you say a difficult journey, kind of describe you as a father, providing for the kids, getting them to the gym. What was that like? And because you're almost kind of hustling, aren't you, making sure your kids getting the training sessions in, he's behaving at school, the food's on the table, the bills are getting paid for. It would have been harder back then.
Yeah, it's very hard. It was very hard, but he's siblings of 7. He's got 6 brothers and sisters as well. So that I don't know.
How did you manage that as a dad?
With love and support, I don't know. We just do it because we do. I'm not too sure. Yeah. We just put our head down and pray to the Lord and keep going. Like, I don't know.
You've done something right, because he's turned out to be a really good kid, and he smokes people in the ring. He talks really well outside the ring, and you could tell he holds a lot of good values. Yeah. What's the worst telling off you've had to give him? The worst telling off? Worst ass whooping. If you want to talk about ass whoopings, we can talk about that.
Mate. Oh, where do we start? No, it was just, mate, discipline is discipline. Everybody does it different. Yeah. There's not, like I said before,
what's the worst thing he's ever done and you thought, fucking hell, Jai, what are you doing?
Oh, he used to get in fights all the time. Yeah. He never actually got the opportunity to get into the, stealing and all that sort of stuff, because he was involved in the boxing at such a young age. So a lot of it's normal sort of stuff, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. He's obviously doing incredibly well now. He's got the challenger Jack Massey on Saturday. There's talks of him going up to heavyweight, fighting Usyk. He accidentally name-dropped Usyk early when we was talking, so I don't know if Usyk's on his mind, but would you like to see him go up to heavyweight down the line?
I think that's a no-brainer, really. you'll end up there in the long run. Like he's just turned 29, so yeah, once he unifies the cruiserweights, if he does it, God willing, see what happens, then he can, as we were talking about, he could cross through the bridgeweight and then eventually go to heavyweight, because that's where all the action is, that's where all the money is, that's, you know, where all the cameras are and the lights and the action. So we'll probably end up there in the next couple of years. So there's no rush. A lot of that other stuff about Usyk and all that sort of stuff, it's just media hype. But, you know, we just concentrate what's in front of us and we just go step by step, winning every fight as we go along.
Has he changed as being a father? Obviously, you're a granddad as well. I don't know if you got any other grandkids or not, have you?
Yeah, we've got 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So blessed there. How's he changed as a person? What have you seen different in him?
Oh, it's a different meaning again. Now his levels changed again. If you think he was bad before, watch what happens now. Yeah, I don't think you've seen this side of him now. So he's not as angry, but he'll be a lot more
Hungry.
boxing Pacific sort of thing. It'll be a completely different Jai that you'll see on the 12th of October. So I'm excited to get everyone to watch it.
One last question for you, Tap. Looking back now as his trainer now and as a father, how do you evaluate him as a person and his career so far at 29 years old, from that little boy that used to mess around, was a little shit, like you said, to now in Saudi Arabia making you proud?
Mate, very honoured. I'm very proud of him. He's turned out to be quite an inspiring sort of person, you know. He speaks well, holds himself well, you know, all the bullshit. We're not into that sort of stuff, and we let all the talking do in the ring. And yeah, I'm very proud of him, and I think we've just started, so I'm looking forward to the journey.
I wish you all the best, Tap. Thank you very much for giving me the pleasure of interviewing you today. Thank you. Appreciate it.